Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. PK is reacting with emotion. I am reacting with logic. What will happen? Well, we just have to sit around for 27 games, 1/3 of the NBA season, and find out.
I know, but now it's the most torturous 27 games.
I get that.
Because they have a chance to add a big-time player, and they've already added a big-time player.
Yes, and slotting. When I was in Sacramento forever ago, not 40 years ago, but we're getting there, 35 years ago, Jerry Reynolds, who did everything in that. He was the Frank Layden of that organization. Did all the PR in town. At one point, he was a coach. At one point, he was the GM. At one point, he scouted for him. At one point, he did broadcasting. And they actually knew each other and got along really well. There's of the same era. And he used to say, yeah, people think these guys suck. He says they don't. Our problem is we don't have the guy at the top. So we're asking a guy who could be, if he's the third best guy on a team, you're really good and everybody loves him. But we're asking him to be the best guy and he can't do it. And we're asking a guy who should be the first guy off the bench to start. And we're asking a guy who should play 10 minutes a night to play 25. And so everybody gets down on all the players. And then they're like, oh, they go to another team and they shine. They're like, well, yeah, now they're playing with 3 All-Stars. Of course they do. And not just getting Jaren Jackson Jr., but getting somebody that accomplished such a great fit for a team that's struggling defensively. Now you got a shot blocker behind you. Everybody's a better defender all of a sudden. And another scoring option. Everybody's got more room to do their thing. It was really a good acquisition. The only downside I can find to it is, financially they're going to be able to fit all the pieces in. But, hey, if it were easy, everybody would do it. So there's going to be something difficult here.
Well, those types of players, that's the money they get.
Yeah, it is, 100%. And that is why you are justifiably worried. And I do believe that if the Jazz played all their guys and went after it, they would be at least 500 down the stretch, and probably better than that. But I don't think they're going to play all their guys. The only question is, how many guys are they going to sit, and how often are they going to sit them? And sitting here right now, I don't have an answer to that. I could sit here and guess and say they're going to sit 3, 4, 5 guys.
Well, if they want the pick, they're going to have to.
They may have to sit more than that. And you can say, how they've already taken a lot of heat. Are they going to sit 6 guys?
More heat.
Sacramento literally sat 6 guys last night. That one of their top 7 scorers played. And I don't know why they made DeMar DeRozan play. Maybe they're mad at him. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's got statistical bonuses he'll hit if he plays and are actually doing him a favor. I don't know what the deal is. I found it a little surprising. But one guy out of the top 7 isn't enough to help Sacramento win anything. And the Jazz ended that game in the first quarter. It was over.
Right.
And then there was 36 minutes of garbage time.
I think if they played all their guys, they would be as good as Minnesota, the Lakers, and the Suns.
Well, that is why we had the conversation that we had earlier this week.
So smack in the middle of the Western Conference.
We had on Andy Bailey, who we've had on the show forever. He's covered the NBA forever, going back to the 90s when he was covering specifically the Jazz. And that is why next year when people say, hey, they can finish 6th, they can finish 7th, they can finish 8th, I totally get why people are saying that. I don't think that they can catch Oklahoma City or San Antonio or
a healthy Denver.
Or a healthy Denver
maybe
next
Houston.
year. Those 3 for sure. Houston, right. Let's see what the Lakers do in the offseason. I expect they're going to lose LeBron.
Which would probably help.
If Reeves resigns and Luka, who else do they add? And then how many out of 82 games do those guys play? If there's an injury and one of them plays 40, the Jazz could catch the Lakers for sure. Maybe they'll catch them anyway. I don't know. There's too many unknowns about what teams are going to do with their rosters this summer. But I'm with you. Minnesota, Phoenix. How different are the Jazz than those teams right now? I agree.
And so that's what's got me worried that they won't get this pick. You've come too far to only go this far, as they say.
Totally agree with that. They're too invested in 3.5 years of this. Yeah. It's like tank the next 27. I get it's distasteful. I get it's a bad look. If people want to scream, let them scream. Whatever. If there's a fine, this is one of the coolest things about Ryan Smith. He's just going to pay it. You got a Jazz fan. You don't have an out-of-town owner. You got someone who's emotionally invested in this since he was a teenager. He's going to pay the fine if he gets fined. So what?
I mean,
so there's no reason not
to pay so much.
I get it.
And, with luxury tax and all.
But I'm
hesitant to ask people to spend your money unless it's on me.
And I get that. But nonetheless, I think he's going to do it. So while I'm not
right, but there's a
demanding
limit.
it, I'm expecting it. And the two guys they really have to watch, they can sit a bunch of guys. Once you're an all-star, there's different standards about you playing. So Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to have to play, but they can sit a bunch of these other guys who can win games. I wasn't kidding earlier this week when I said, hey, if they start thinking about benching Isaiah Collier, I get it. I'm not going to complain.
Well, he needs rest. He played 48 minutes, man.
I don't think he does.
He does. He played 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Cramps?
But if he has to sit down,
muscles,
if he has
soreness,
to sit down for a couple weeks, yeah.
Just
hamstring tightness, rest,
passing
whatever,
elbow.
I don't care.
You know, you heard a tennis elbow? Passes the ball.
Yeah. Those 14 assists, man. They'll wear you out.
Move over, anti-vaxxer.
And
14 assists?
They've got 3 games with New Orleans left. I mean, these are just gimmies. They've got another game with Sacramento. They've got 2 games with the Wizards left. I mean, they have some truly terrible teams on the schedule here.
I wouldn't show up if I were them.
And on top of that, Milwaukee, they got to play Portland a couple times. These are very winnable games.
I think every game on their schedule
Memphis
is winnable.
Yeah, I get it.
If they play their guys. I don't care who they play.
I just don't think they're going to. Man, Austin Ainge hasn't told me anything. Danny Ainge hasn't told me anything. Will Hardy hasn't told me anything. But there's been too much around from people who are wired in the franchise saying they're going to have one of the 5 worst records. And you called it out earlier this morning, and I can't argue it. Well, maybe that needs to change now that they made this trade. Because not only is Jaren Jackson really good, which he is, he's got his all-star appearances, and he's scoring 20 points in 20 minutes here. But they may have found a couple of nice role players in this too. Certainly guys who can compete in this league with these watered-down teams tanking down the stretch. I mean, obviously, John Conchar and Vince Williams Jr. are good enough for that.
Conchar's a lion.
And they may be, if he is a lion, they may be
He's got a tat of a lion.
Better.
You don't get a tat of a lion. You're a white guy. You get a sleeve attached with a lion. You're a lion. He is the lion.
Svi needs to play. Elijah Harkless needs to play.
And you see,
Blake Hinson
when
needs
he
to play.
scores, when he does something, his eyes, they just light up, man. He is lion eyes.
Sing it. Do you know that song, Christian, or are you just completely lost right now, Chicho?
Well, we might have a breaking news update. I'm trying to verify.
Look at you in there working while we're in here screwing around. This is why he's going places.
Oh, I know he was going places.
I know.
I identified it 3 years ago when I had when I got an opportunity to meet him, and I actually told the powers that be, don't let this kid go.
Yep.
Pay him.
I appreciate that.
I said, if you need to take some money out of DJ's salary, give it to him.
Don't touch PKs.
Right.
But DJ's is on the table.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Thank you, PK. I knew I could count on you.
Chris Haynes, NBA insider, tweeting out that Utah Jazz star Jaren Jackson Jr. is likely to miss the remainder of the season, undergoing surgery on his left knee.
The arthroscopic procedure, now's the time to do it.
Praise you know who.
Whoever tore his cartilage or roughed it up.
No, I'm going all the way to the top.
Oh, you are? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a requirement.
All right. There's the first step. It's no longer.
And I wonder if they knew that.
Probably.
So we'll let them play a couple of games.
Why wouldn't they?
And then we'll play them here at home.
At minimum, you do a physical. Unless the other teams are screwing with you, they tell you what's going on.
And the Wizards are saying, how dare you?
The Wizards, who traded for 2 guys and immediately pronounced them out for the year.
I know.
Just go to Cancun, guys.
How could they do this?
The Kings are sitting 6 of their top 7
This is tawdry.
Do you buy Scotty G's theory? Scotty G, and people are tweeting back at him going about this.
What?
Scotty, let's be honest here. He tweeted this out. Nobody's worried about the integrity of the game. That got thrown out the window a long time ago. He keeps going. He says, I can't seem to put my finger on it, but maybe it's some fans, all cap, who want to see athletes really duel it out on the court so we can see who really deserves a top spot in the draft, all caps, and become the league's new kings. Yeah, FanDuel DraftKings. This is a gambling thing.
There's 100 things if you want to rip the integrity of the league.
Yeah. But then a basketball account, Hardwood Paroxysm, says, just so we're clear, the books don't care. The risk exposure on a February Jazz game is nothing, and it's all priced in anyway. Go check what the halftime odds are for a tanking team leading the game. Win totals don't generate enough handle to be an issue. So he's saying it's not about that.
Okay, then if it doesn't, then why do it?
Because cumulatively all of them together make some money and get people hooked.
Okay, so they're making money.
Cumulatively, yes, but not one game's not going to sink them.
Well, the word integrity isn't about a singular game.
Yeah. They're not talking integrity. They're talking about money. No one's getting revved up about this because it's not impacting the bottom line enough. Now, if you go bigger picture, which I don't think they are, and you go back to integrity of the game, well, the whole Chauncey Billups thing, yikes. I mean, with the referee, what was his name?
Donahue.
Yikes. I mean, there's others higher profile occasionally.
That's why I don't get into that.
I know.
I
know. And we got.
I love the sport. I want to watch the sport. It helps me blow winter nights.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care about.
Yep.
And then in the summer or late spring, the competition's off the charts, and it's fun. It's entertainment. And I don't care what this coach says about this guy and this president or this and that, because as you told me, where's money coming from? We can't singularly, like the live golfers took a lot of heat for all blood money and all that. Well, are we doing it? And we see this every freaking day. Well, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Well, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I had fully admitted I'm a hypocrite. What's in my best interest? Yeah, I'm not this humanitarian who's going to be winning any humanitarian awards, right? And so it's a freaking entertainment avenue that I enjoy. And let's just leave it at that. And the system is go to the New York and protest there because they set up the system.
I do wonder as the noise gets louder if they're just going to flatten the lottery odds for 14 teams.
And do it, whatever.
I could see that coming.
Whatever.
And that's how it started. As a matter of fact, that's how it started so long ago. There weren't even 14 teams in the lottery because they've added expansion teams since then. It was 7. And I think the Warriors had the worst record, and the Knicks got the number 1 pick and got Ewing, and the Warriors drafted 7th. And people were up in arms like, how are they ever supposed to get better? Well, it turned out I think they drafted Chris Mullin with that pick.
It was good.
They got a dream teamer, right, who led that whole run TMC era. Mm-hmm. He and Hardaway and now I'm blanking. Mitch Richmond, yes. Those 3 were brilliant. Those 3 were so much fun to watch. They didn't have a big guy in an era when you needed it, so they didn't win big. But,
hey, don't be disrespecting Chris Gatling.
Well, sorry. But, out in the second round, best case scenario. But they had a bunch of 50-win seasons, and Mullen was spectacular.
And those are good times.
Oh, yeah. They were. They were absolutely good times. All right, DJ and PK. Well, there's a news.
It's not, the Jazz have announced it.
Yeah. Chris Haynes breaking the story. Jazz are announcing it. Jaren Jackson Jr. likely to miss the remainder of the season, undergo surgery on his left knee to ensure his long-term health. So get a little cartilage cleaned up in there. Rehab, and then he's ready for a summer program and summer vacation and all of that mixed together.
The best 3-game debut in Jazz history.
Fact. Don't you feel better already?
Yes.
You really do.
But I want more.
You're going to, and you need more. You're not up in the night here. I just think they're going to find a way to keep that pick. Bound and determined. And it's harder now because they've added a very good player, and they may have added 2 nice role players as well. So it'll be a little trickier. They'll just have to sit more guys. Stay with us.
For all of you less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ, PK, and we are joined now by Dave Rose, former BYU basketball coach. They're going to be honored at the Marriott Center. They're going to be honoring Jimmer Fredette. The good old days. Jimmer, the Mountain West Conference. Dave was coaching in that era. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good. Dave, I'm curious. I mean, Jimmer now, you don't even need his last name. It's just Jimmer. Everybody knows it. Was there ever a time when he could have not ended up playing for BYU? Do you ever look back and think, well, we didn't know when he was a freshman and the recruiting process and all that? Or was it a slam dunk? It was one of those deals where you knew early on. Sometimes you know what's going to happen 12 or 18 months before it happens, but sometimes you don't really know what's going to happen. How did this one play out when you landed Jimmer?
Yeah, this was, we were kind of nervous the whole time through it because his mom Jimmer's mom really wanted him to stay close by because obviously they loved watching him play in person. And Fran McCafferty, this is when Fran and I became actually pretty good friends, is because we were everywhere watching him play for a couple of years. And, he was right there at Siena. And so we were pretty nervous for quite a while. And then, when he finally committed to us, got his mom's permission to come all the way out here. His dad, Al was always, I think, kind of on BYU side a little bit. He went to BYU for a semester back when he was a kid, and he thought it would be a good place for him to go. So we didn't really know for sure until we got the mom's approval. And once we got the mom on board, then it worked out pretty good for us.
As I was covering the team during that time, it was a phenomenal time. What a great time to be alive, obviously. And to see Jimmer just take over. I'm speaking of the second part of maybe his junior year and certainly his senior year. And I always thought that, man, if he would have played at Utah in the 90s, that never would have occurred. Let's call it like it is, right? And for you to basically say, okay, this is your ball. Go ahead and do what you think is right. I mean, you had to make I don't know if a concession is the right word, but you had to make a decision to allow it to happen. And we don't really see that very much. So I thought, and Jimmer deserves 99% of the credit, but I thought you too, being able to just say and allowing him to do it, allowing him to flourish, if you would have reined it in, it wouldn't have happened. So just speak to your mindset at the time that you said, yeah, this is something that we need to do.
Well, I think more than Jimmer or more than myself, it was the other guys on the team. I mean, you have to have a group of guys who want that to happen in order to win games, and we felt that was a good way for us to try to close out games, especially. But his ability to score the basketball was unique and really unique for us at the time. And you give guys Jackson Emery and Brandon
Hartzog.
Davies and Noah Hartzog and Charles Abuo. I mean that whole group of guys, they all had to really buy into that, and it could only happen. I mean, it's hard to really try and explain to somebody who hasn't coached a program or tried to deal with 8, 9, 10, 12 different players. These players all come to college thinking that they're going to be the next guy, and then they're going to be the next, player at the next level in the NBA. And what we usually did was kind of dash all their dreams, and there's only a few guys every year that get the chance to be the star. And then there's only, a few guys from there that actually get a chance to go on and play. And so in this case, I really believe more than me or more than Jimmer or more than our coaching staff, it was our players and those guys allowing Jimmer to be Jimmer.
And I get that. There's a lot of truth in that. Convincing four guys that they need to defend hard and rebound hard, but they're not going to touch the basketball very often, that's a hard sell. So I totally get what you're saying. But to PK's point, I don't even know how many times I interviewed you, but there's three or four interactions that really stick with me over time. And I remember asking you, because there was a phase where you gave Jimmer the ball and he went to work, he's on the three-point line. We all close our eyes and see it, right? Head fake, shoulder fake, step back, he's driving, no, he's hitting a fadeaway three or whatever. But then it escalated even more, and he started taking logo threes. And this is before Steph Curry and before Damian Lillard made it semi-normal. He's taking logo threes, and people are oohing and on, and I'm looking at you, and I asked you specifically, what are you thinking when he takes a logo three? Is that his idea? Are you okay with that? And I just had the feeling that you were biting your tongue and your lip until they bled. Was it really hard to let him take 34-foot shots? Or you were just sitting back there thinking, this is awesome. Let it fly, Jimmer.
Well, I think he made it a little bit easier on me because he made most of them. I got a lot of guys who want to shoot him, but the fact that he was I mean, he was such a good three-point shooter. And when he started to move back and show his range, I mean, that's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for, a coaching staff. It's hard for to kind of watch that happen. But when he's making baskets and it's helping your team win, I mean, that's the end goal. And so that's kind of what we went with.
So many great moments of that team that season, his senior year, which, what was that, the 2010-2011 season, and you guys went over to Denver, won a couple of ball games over there, beat Gonzaga, and then lost to Florida in overtime. And we, you don't want to hear it, but I believe if you had Brandon Davies, you would have won. But nevertheless, it didn't happen. And the half-court shot against the Utes, I was in the press box there up on the concourse level, and I was also in the Thomas and Mack in the for the conference tournament. And I want to get your opinion. I actually thought the best moment of the season for me was that semifinal game, 18,500 people, Thomas and Mack jammed, packed. And he goes for, 53, 54, something, and he takes maybe one or two free throws. And I could just remember him putting on that show, and I'm sitting there in press row, and everybody, it was like freaking watching Larry Bird clips as far as that goes. I mean, you were just amazed and stunned. Everybody knew what was going to happen, and he still does it. And it was, oh man, it was so awesome. So for me, that was my best moment of that whole entire season. What was yours?
Well, obviously that was a great night. And I think there's a lot of things that, individuals, people who watched it and followed it, they'll remember, about that season with Jimmer. But, that New Mexico game in Vegas, I mean, we've been beat by New Mexico twice, and this Darius Gary kind of had our number. And I don't know if we'd have got him that night if he didn't. I think he broke his ankle that night and didn't play the second part of the second half, and we ended up winning the game. And obviously, the kid was absolutely tremendous down there. But for me, I think it's got to go.
Do your magic, Chicho.
Chicho, make it work. We're getting right to the payoff. Well, for me, it's what, Coach? Call him back.
That was unbelievable.
That really was. That was a heck of an edit right there. That was the exact thing I wanted to hear. And he's literally 2 words away. Bang! It's over. What? Come on. All right, Dave, that was hilarious. You got, for me, and we're hanging on every word and you go away. It was like, that was it. That was the moment. Yeah. So pick it up there. For me, it was.
Yeah, I never was very good at using electronics. So, whatever happened. But for me, it was the next weekend, when we go to Denver and, we get by that first game. The Wofford game was really tough, and then we got through that, and then we ended up playing Gonzaga, which we thought was a one-off, but it ended up being the next big piece of BYU basketball was playing big games against Gonzaga, but us being able to win that game and then get to the Sweet 16. I mean that's I think the most special memory for me because. That's pretty hard to do, I mean, it was really, really hard for us to do in that time. I mean, Coach Young did it in his first year, so it doesn't sound that hard for him. But for us, it was a pretty big accomplishment for us.
Jimmer famously didn't come in. He wasn't a star as a freshman, and it occurs to different people along the way. Oh, wow, wait a minute. Right? Jimmer Mania is his senior year. That's Jimmer Mania, and everybody knows what's going on. For me, it was really clicking in his junior year. He was averaging over 20 points a game. That's a lot in a 40-minute college game. He was your leading scorer and all that. But the game that really jumped out at me was your first NCAA tournament game. You guys hadn't won a tournament game in like 17 years, and you win a thriller over Florida, and he went off. And I can still remember him standing on the baseline doing a post-game interview like it wasn't that big a deal. And I'm like, wow, I knew he was good, and now I realize he's really good. And he isn't even impressed. There's even more there. I mean, I was thinking, how good can this get as a senior? Well, that was for me. I'm not at practice every day. I'm not with him, on the bus, on planes and all that. I'm figuring it out then, late in his junior year. When are you figuring it out like, wow, this is a guy we can really ride to places we don't normally go?
Well, I think, obviously after his junior year, we got the win against Florida, and then, we had we played pretty well, but we weren't good enough to beat Frank Martin and his group. So, but we were that next year trying to get him to come back during the spring. And, I wanted to give him every opportunity to visit all the NBA clubs and get a read from everybody and then make a decision if he was going to, go early or if he was going to come back. And obviously the whole time I feel like the best thing for him is to come back. But I think really that's because that's the best thing for me, for him to come back. But when he actually did come in my office and tell me that that's what he wanted to do, and then not only did he tell me that that was his decision, but then came with a plan that he had drawn up, what he was going to do that summer and what he wanted to accomplish and the things that he was, the reason that he was coming back, not only to improve himself, but to help BYU to advance in the tournament and to be with those guys, to be with his teammates. And even to this day, if you got the guy and went and asked him the most special part about that season, he'll tell you that it was the guys that he played with. I mean, they were really a special group of guys. And they, when you take Jackson Emery and Jimmer are still best friends today and their families. So I just think that was a special time and a special group. And I hope it happens again in college basketball, but probably won't. I don't know if Jimmer would be able to stay at BYU for 4 years. I know one thing, if we'd handled him the way I handled him the first year, he'd never come back anymore. I mean, that's be long gone. But that's from me watching it from afar. So I just really I'm happy it happened, and I'm glad we get to celebrate it here this weekend.
You talk about the guys and being able to allow him to flourish. And I think a large part of that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you're much closer to the situation than I was the humility that the kid had and being around him. I mean, he was getting just an unprecedented amount of attention was being shined on him in this game at that time. And yet he still had that little all shucks, small town kind of guy that he never let it get to him. And even today, you talk to him and he basically deflects and he's self-deprecating and all that. Speak to what kind of kid he was during all this and how that he was able to stay so level-headed when he didn't let the stardom really get to him or change who he was or is.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most unique things about the season. And it all had to do with his personality and his natural way with our team. And I've talked about this many times, but you didn't see Jimmer and one guy hanging out all the time or Jimmer and a little group of the team. And those guys are always together. Jimmer was with a different guy, every pregame meal. He sat with a different guy. And he just had a really good relationship with, almost every single guy on that roster. And it had, I would find out, this, later during the week, whatever, that, he would go out, during the week with this group or with that group or with that group. And that's really unique. And usually guys, especially guys who get to be really, really good and going places in Provo is a little bit difficult. That they get their posse and they stay with that group and then they find a pattern. That's kind of how they go through it. But Jimmer was different that way too. He loved the people who paid attention to him, and he spent so much time getting from the arena to the bus and all these different places that if the guys ever got upset at Jimmer, that was probably the reason. It was like, hey, come on, Jimmer, let's go. We waited long enough. Let's get on. Let's get on to the next town. But he was a guy who genuinely just love to be around our team and the group of guys that we had.
I'm hoping when they do the celebration, and obviously they have the 15-year rule, and he's met all the qualifications, that they also announce the Dave Rose practice facility building. I think that's due. I know you're not going to want to address it, but that's what I think.
Yeah, well, the one thing you do know, Pat, is that you covered BYU for a long time, so you could probably write an article about covering BYU and what happens at BYU. And I'm just really happy that I'm around 15 years later to get a chance to see this happen for Jimmer. I hope I'm around to see it happen for a couple more guys, because I had some pretty good players through the years, and I think there's a few other guys that maybe deserve this too. But you think about how long. How many people have played at BYU, and what we've got 2 or 3 guys who's never been retired. So you never really know what's going to happen next. But I'm really happy for Jimmer and his family.
All right, one more thing before we let you go. I told you I remembered a few questions I've asked you and look on your face for some of these answers and big moments. One of them was on a radio show. It was about 2008, I think, maybe 2009. And we had you on, and you were on the phone just like this. And I remember the studio you're in, which is why I can place it. And you probably have no idea what you said, but it was great advice. And we have quoted it to each other. Do you have any idea what I'm even talking about?
Okay. Come on, man.
Okay, here it is. Here it is.
How can I remember what happened yesterday?
Okay, I'll bounce this back at you, and then you could just think about it. Say it was right at the end of the interview, and you said, "Hey, you two, you got a nice little thing going here. Don't mess it up." You said that, and we have quoted that to each other in troubled times. We're like, "Well, remember what Dave said? Got a nice little thing going here. Don't mess it up." So far, so good, Dave. We've held on to that advice so far.
It's still rolling.
Right?
It's still rolling. You guys do a great job. The numbers have changed. All your numbers have changed. The number on the dial, the number on your paycheck, all those things.
Our age. How about our age, man? The decades. The number of gray hairs.
But obviously the show is still the best in town. And I know that you guys love doing it. I think that's the one thing that every person who listens to it, they get the same feel from it, is that you love what you do and you love covering, Utah sports. And I think that we all have been lucky to have guys like you that have been able to kind of spearhead the thing for us. So congratulations on staying alive this long.
You too, and I mean it more for you than me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well,
it's been
fun. It's been fun for me.
We love stories, and you provided us with a bunch of stories, and Jimmer provided us with a bunch of stories. So enjoy Saturday afternoon in the Marriott Center, because this kind of stuff is fun, and fans just eat this up. Fans want to look back 15, 20, 25 years and remember the good old days. Doesn't matter pro, college, high school, doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter men or women, doesn't matter how much money people aren't getting paid. Everybody loves that. So enjoy Saturday afternoon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Dave Rose, retired BYU basketball coach. It's Colorado at BYU. It ought to be a win for the Cougars at home. 2 o'clock, FS1, and they will honor Jimmer. Kresimir Ćosić, Danny Ainge. I don't remember anybody else up there. Is there another one, or is Jimmer 3?
I think they have 1 or 2 women's players.
Okay, yes, but I was talking to men's players.
No men's. I was there covering it when Ainge got his thing.
Yep, I was there that night too.
Seemed like that was long overdue.
Because it was long overdue. I mean, you have to wait whatever the time is.
15.
Right. But as soon as you get there, let's go. Yeah. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Woo! Oh, I was there. It's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Question of the morning, the Jazz have won 2 in a row. Are you starting to worry about them losing the first-round pick? A lot of people agreeing with Josh. Yes. And will they have to put players on the injury list to stop themselves from winning? They're too good. JJJ is legit on both sides of the ball. Well, since then, there's been breaking news and Big 12 runner-up champs. Am I worried? Not now, not with the JJJ news. He's going to have a procedure on his knee, clean something up in his knee. He's going to miss the rest of the season.
Good.
3 games, got an idea, got a little taste of what he can do.
Just don't do Ostertag and come back 50 pounds overweight.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. I think he's a little established at this point. We know what's going to happen with him. And he'll have plenty of time. This sounds, I don't know what it is. I mean, it all broke during the last hour, but it sounds like this is the kind of description when they're cleaning up cartilage and somebody's out 6 weeks.
They said it was discovered after the trade.
Okay.
So whoever discovered it, I'd
well
give
played.
I'd give that doctor a raise.
Right?
What do we got here?
All right. So he ought to be ready to go for summer workouts and training camp.
Jazz
what we're hearing now.
Down in the Martinellis as we speak.
That's exactly right. DJ and PK, Ben's up next, right here on The Zone.